This is Mac OS Ken.
Praise for Apple management, talk of unionizing Apple retail, and CODA is headed back to the big screen. It is Monday, the 21st of February, 2022. Happy President's Day, you presidential people, you. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by New Relic, helping you monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack. Learn more and get started at newrelic.com/macosken. This show is also sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. What would you do if you didn't have high-interest loans or credit card debt? Would you move? Would you turn your side hustle into what you do? Don't be held back. Through Upstart, you can pay off your existing debt quickly with a personal loan so you can tackle your next big financial goal. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, their model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in just 5 minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. See why over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macosken. UPSTART. That's upstart.com/macosken. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/macosken. If you're curious why Berkshire Hathaway is so high on Apple, it's partly the Cupertino Company's management and partly you. Yahoo Finance had a few words with Berkshire Vice Chairman Charlie Munger. On the management side, Munger says, "I think Apple is one of the strong companies and will stay a strong company. I think it's ungodly well managed." As for the you part, Berkshire's Vice Chairman said, "I judge the strength of the company based on how much its customers love it, and I've got zillions of friends who they'd almost part with their right arm before they would part with their iPhone. That's a hugely powerful position to be in." While Berkshire's Munger praises Apple management, the C-suite may have a whole new challenge on its hands, dealing with a unionized retail workforce. Engadget highlights a Washington Post report that says Apple Store workers in the U.S. are quietly trying to unionize. How quietly? Well, I reached out to one friend at one store. They say they've never heard anything of the sort, though again, that's one person at one store. The Post, meanwhile, says it's heard from folks at least 6 stores talking union, with 2 of those prepping submissions to the National Labor Relations Board. According to the piece, the pro-union workers have reportedly organized in secret to avoid possible eavesdropping and retaliation from Apple, using encrypted chats and even Android phones to keep communications private. I'm sorry, wouldn't an Apple Store employee toting a Samsung seem sort of suspicious? The report says the central issue is money. While the Post says the pay is not bad compared to other retail gigs, workers say wages haven't kept up with the rising costs of living, and besides, other retail gigs aren't part of the most valuable company on the planet. The Post piece does note the recent raises some employees have received, though some raises cited by the report were less than $1 an hour, hardly enough to keep up with the recent spike in inflation. Meanwhile, Engadget says Apple is apparently using managers to issue anti-union warnings, such as claims workers may see reduced pay and benefits. I will say I kind of wish this story was from the New York Times or the Financial Times. I do not mean the author behind the Washington Post story any disrespect, but between the current anti-tech fervor in D.C. and the paper being owned by Jeff Bezos, I don't know. It reads as if the writer is trying to get the reader to side against Apple. Then again, I spend so much time staring at Apple, I often wonder whether I've lost objectivity. Power to the people if they want to try it. I'll just be curious to see how big a story this actually ends up being. Another problem in the supply chain, but, it's going to be great. 9to5Mac highlights a report from the Relic saying at least one of Apple's OLED suppliers for iPhone has been badly hit by a shortage of display drivers. The site does a neat little recap of how we got to this point. The world caught COVID-19. Folks needed and wanted new technology for the home, thanks to work-from-home trends and not going out of the house to have fun. Chip production was hampered by COVID-19, and demand for chips, especially from the auto industry, quickly outstrips supply. Just as Apple CEO Tim Cook often blames a lack of legacy nodes when addressing supply constraints, 9to5Mac says the biggest issue is not the CPUs and GPUs, but far more mundane chips like display drivers and power management systems. These relatively low-tech chips are used in a huge number of devices, including devices made by Apple. Which leads us back to the display driver concern. According to the Relic, Chinese display giant BOE is facing production problems in OLED panels for iPhones due to the ongoing global chip shortage. The shortage will affect production this month and next month, sources said. The Chinese display giant internally had aimed to ship over 40 million units of OLED panels for iPhones this year, another group of people familiar with the matter said. It is unlikely that they will meet that target now, and its ultimate shipment numbers will be more close to 30 million units by the end of the year. How big a deal will this be for iPhone delivery? Well, without knowing the ins and outs of Apple's supply chain, it's really difficult to say. Missing by 10 million for the year is no small thing. Then again, BOE is only Apple's third largest OLED supplier. 9to5Mac says it follows LG in second and Samsung in first, so who knows? It's possible that one Apple supplier can't get the parts it needs because two other Apple suppliers are taking them all, which could still mean plenty of iPhones to go around. I did the whole "it's gonna be great" thing already, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. Ahead of Apple's anticipated AR/VR device, TrendForce has some interesting ideas around the space, and one idea that I hope is crazy. Let us first hit the interesting. In a press release last week, the firm revised upward its expectation for augmented reality, virtual reality device shipments this year. It's now got those at just over 14 million units. That'll be driven partly by increased demand for remote interactivity stemming from the pandemic, and partly by reduced prices for Facebook's Oculus Quest 2. While talk of the metaverse has companies excited about the space, component shortages and the difficulty of developing new technologies are said to be holding the whole thing back. And with no known products on the near horizon, TrendForce sees nothing knocking HoloLens 2 out of its lead position in augmented reality. Same goes for Facebook's Oculus Quest 2 in the VR space. Hold up, wait a minute, what about Apple, I pretend to hear you say? Quoting TrendForce, since the commercial market places more emphasis on the benefits of hardware and software integration, manufacturers that dominate commercial systems, software, and platforms have the advantage. Thus, Apple has become another focus in the AR/VR device market. Now let's do the part that I hope is crazy. Consumers can get into an Oculus Quest 2 for about $500. Businesses can grab a HoloLens 2 for between $1,000 and $3,500. The release says, considering hardware performance requirements and gross profit margins, TrendForce thinks Apple will likely target the commercial market and adopt the same pricing strategy as HoloLens, hardware priced in the thousands of dollars and a monthly subscription-based software solution. Now, I can tell you why I think that's crazy and why I want it to be. I think it's crazy because iPhone and iPad, while not cheap for a large number of consumers, those devices were not out of reach. And consumers are who Apple targeted. Not that business couldn't have them, not that business couldn't make use of them. While both have become mainstays of business, they were aimed at the average John and Jane. Difficult to imagine Apple taking a wildly different tack on a tech that Apple CEO Tim Cook has said will one day be as ubiquitous as smartphones are today. As for my desire for the TrendForce take to be crazy, I want, gimme. More news in a moment, but first a word from New Relic, helping you monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack. If you're a software engineer, you may dread any call after work hours, because any call could be one saying something is broken, leading to more calls and still more calls and logging into a ton of tools, all to find who knows what. That won't happen with New Relic. New Relic combines 16 different monitoring products that you would normally buy separately, so engineering teams can see across their entire software stack in one place. New Relic monitors the status of your software from the inside. It looks for anomalous activity and pings you so you can catch problems before end users do. That's why the developer and ops teams at DoorDash, GitHub, Atlassian, and more than 14,000 other companies use New Relic to debug and improve their software. The next after-work call is just waiting to happen. Get New Relic before it does. And you can get access to the whole New Relic platform and 100 gigabytes of data free forever, no credit card required. Sign up at newrelic.com/macOSKen. NEWRELIC. That's newrelic.com/macOSKen. newrelic.com/macOSKen. Kanye West says his next album, Donda 2, will be exclusive to his own STEM player device and that it will not be available on Oppressive streaming services like Spotify or Apple Music. It's hard to see how Kanye personally can call Apple Music oppressive. As a piece from Apple Insider points out, he has seen both success and support from Apple Music. Apple held not one, but 3 launch events for Donda when West repeatedly failed to release the album on schedule. Okay, that is not completely fair on Apple Insider's part. While I haven't checked out any of the launch events, word was that the album changed significantly between the first listen and the final release. He may have missed the scheduled release, but he was working on it. Whatever the case, the follow-up will apparently not be an Apple Stream or the others. In an Instagram post, Apple Insider says, West decried how artists get just a fraction of the money that the Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, and YouTube streaming services do. And so, the piece says, Donda 2 will not be streamed on any of the major services. Listeners will have to buy a $200 STEM player device to play the music digitally. There is more to this story. Another piece from Apple Insider has Kanye saying that he turned down an offer from Apple Music that the piece says was worth something like $100 million. Personally, I just can't with that part of the story. It's out there if you want to, though. Also, it's out there. And finally today, if you want to see Apple's Academy Award nominee for Best Picture on the big screen, you may have a chance this weekend. Engadget says the Cupertino company is re-releasing CODA in theaters for 3 days. Those days are this coming Friday, the 25th of February, through Sunday, the 27th. And they are charging nothing. Best Picture is not the only award for which the film has been nominated. The film's writer and director, Sian Heder, has also been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, and Troy Kotsur earns a couple of distinctions, first for being nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and second for being the first deaf man to be nominated in that category. The Oscars are in a little over a month, Sunday, the 27th of March. You can, of course, stream CODA now on Apple TV+. If you want to do the theater thing, Engadget says screenings are planned for major cities in the U.S. as well as London. While tickets are free, you will need tickets. You can find out more and snag those at coda.film/tickets. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSken. This show is also sponsored by New Relic, helping you monitor, debug, and improve your entire stack. Learn more and get started at newrelic.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.